You're listening to Grain of Salt, a podcast hosted by Donnie Burtless and Krista Glennie Seishu, covering the Buffalo Niagara region's food and drink scene. Today's episode features Josh and Satomi Smith from SATO. They chat with Donnie about ramen culture in Japan, why they moved back to Western New York, the process of introducing different Japanese cuisines to locals, and their plans for SATO Ramen, their upcoming second location.
I think we should start this by saying how awesome it is that you guys are opening a second location. Yeah, because that's coming up soon, right? Or
ish. Well, we're paying rent soon, so when we open, we'll. It depends on renovation. It is turnkey for somebody who wanted to do like a cafe or something, but it's going to take us a little bit of time, a month or so, 2 months maybe, to get our final touches on it.
Yeah, it's the former Kung Food.
Yep.
Yeah. Nice. That was a nice spot. It's a good location right across from UB South.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, we talked, we've always thought about another location. We weren't thinking this soon, but sort of the opportunity came up. They were out over the winter, and we started asking, and Jim from Shango was all supportive of it.
Yeah,
and,
he's awesome. I mean, he's the guy who can tell you, like, you can make it work in that area.
Him and the owner of the building, Sam, who owns Ming's, the Chinese restaurant that's there also. They have kind of been staples in the neighborhood for years, and, they didn't want just something that's going to change hands real quick. It's
so what I'm gathering from Chris's post that she did a couple of weeks ago, it's like pretty much like a ramen heavy menu, or
yes, we are gonna call it SATO Ramen.
Awesome. I'm so excited.
Yeah, before we opened this the original SATO, we wanted to do ramen, but we thought it would be too soon for Buffalo. Okay. And we wanted to test it out. Oh, yeah.
I mean, Buffalo has definitely never had like a... I mean, there was no for a very brief period. But, yeah, ramen is not a familiar thing in Buffalo, unfortunately. Yeah. That's awesome. So do you think this is going to let you do... I mean, because you guys have a ramen on your menu at SATO. Is this going to let you do more varieties or different types? Or
we're going to keep what we have now, but we're thinking of adding a couple more.
Nice.
Yeah. But we want to keep the menu tight so that we can give quick service.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, we kind of, we always had, we like what we're doing on Elmwood. That's a little bit more, we get to play around and be creative, have different small plates, that kind of thing. But as far as like a straight up ramen joint, it's often smaller, cozier, cramped to some people's definitions, but I mean, we're doing our own. We make all our noodles in house now.
That's huge.
And we got into that. When we got into that, then we were like, we're studying with the guy in New York City to make soba, buckwheat noodles. Oh wow! So we're gonna have soba on there as well, and still kind of keep it a limited menu, but limited, and just kind of a cooler place to hang out.
How long have you been doing the noodles, your own noodles?
Just started.
We started just
January.
doing. Well, the month.
March.
When was it? March. We started doing all. We did it limited. Just for like the ramen of the month kind of thing was the fresh noodles, and then but now we're going everything. So
that's kind of like a big undertaking.
It was, a
lot more work.
But I mean, we were getting, we kind of negotiated with the guy in New York City, the Japanese company who makes it to our specification, and they supply like Momofuku and some of the the big guys out there, so they're a legitimate Japanese company and everything, but. talking with them and then getting them to ship it here, we figured that once we started doing it ourselves, we're like, we can do this. We got this.
Was there a lengthy R&D process that went into it, or
we're still learning? Yeah. Once we got it down, it's noodles are a little bit of a science to it also.
Yeah.
So once you kind of got the formula down for the flavor that we wanted, then it's we're rolling.
But the temperature change.
Yeah.
Like water amount.
Moisture.
The humidity and everything like that. Yeah, that'll mess with you.
Every day it's different.
So what recipe you have now versus like in middle of July
it was
something?
Different. Yeah.
Oh
yeah. That'll be fun.
We had to remake a shitload of batches. So, but it's a learning process.
That's awesome. So how long has Sato's been on Elmwood now? For about a year and
a little over a year.
Yeah. Now before that, you guys opened Serene Gardens, correct, out on Grand Island?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When we moved back from Japan, that was my parents had moved out of the city to Grand Island there, so that's kind of where we settled, and we gave it a go there, and we had regulars, but the majority of the people were probably from Buffalo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, like making the trip.
Right. And it was, so you get like a half-assed weather day and it's just like, well, we don't want to cross the bridge, or you've got like a window of like 70 to 75 degrees.
Yes.
Beyond that, it's like it's too hot or it's too cold. And
so
it's, after a while we're like, we need to be where, the majority of our clientele are, and in a neighborhood or in an area that's going to appreciate diversity, different things.
Yeah, Grand Island's tricky. I think there's definitely those couple standard places that will probably always service, but they're more of a general Buffalo comfort food type of thing, not necessarily like an ethnic cuisine. Yeah. I think like Dick and Jenny's might be as like crazy as they
right. Yeah. They're definitely doing their thing, and we're talking with them. We're talking with like Chaz over at the Riverstone Grill. Oh he's really good. And what they're doing is really cool, but it's just not what we're doing. Yeah, and it's not always the same customer base. Yeah. So.
And so now, so Tommy, you're from Japan, correct? Yes. How did you guys end up meeting out in Japan?
Well, I was doing a study abroad at Buff State.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where we met.
I was working in the bookstore, and I hit on her, and she ignored me at first, but yeah.
And so, what? Then you guys both moved overseas, or?
Yep. After a year here, I went back to teach English in Japan for. Well, we were apart for a year, and then when she graduated at her university in near Seattle, she came. I drug her back to Japan. So we were there. I taught English for a few years, and then I stayed and did got my master's and PhD at Osaka University, and she was working at a
trading company,
doing this and that, and eventually we had our firstborn. I decided to move back to Buffalo.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so 13 years I just kind of crammed into a minute. But
that's a pretty good job. Yeah. I read, so tell me, does your family have like background in the restaurant industry?
Yes, my father, my parents run the ramen restaurant.
Oh, well, that would be clutch.
Yeah.
So that's where I come from.
Were you very like in the restaurant a lot growing up and everything? Yeah. I would assume
I was making 10 cents an hour illegally from elementary school.
Oh wow!
Growing up, so
nice.
Yeah,
nice.
Was there.
What I know there's different types of ramen. What specialty was that?
They have one kind of ramen.
Yeah.
Just the shoyu, the soy sauce based ramen. It's similar to what we have. We call it SATO Ramen here.
Okay, yeah.
But they have one kind of soup.
Yeah, I love that idea.
A little bit of topping difference, but and they have dumpling. So 2 things in the menu.
That's awesome.
That's all they do. It's rare around here, but the specific one item restaurants are
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Just I like being really great at one specific thing, and like just nailing it out of the park, like being the best place for it. I don't know too much ramen. I'm a huge fan of takatsu, the pork, because it's just like creamy pork.
Yeah,
goodness. But my goal is to be more educated in the world of ramen. That's like one of my 2015 goals.
Well, yeah, I think her parents' style or her family style of ramen is like the tonkotsu pork, and they have a chicken blend. Okay, so it's a little more mellow than like the super rich milky pork. Yeah, and her father always like describes it as aiming to create a ramen that can be eaten like every day. Yeah. Like every day of the year it fits, super hot out, super cold. Yeah. The tonkotsu is, it's good, but it's it's rich. I don't know.
I would need to also take like a Lipitor after.
A couple Alka-Seltzer with it.
Yeah, if you're eating takatsu more than once a week, like you better also be on a treadmill.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But that's awesome. And so so when you guys come back, where was the restaurant as far as plans? Like, did you know you wanted to do something in food, or
when we started on Grand Island, we were thinking originally like cafe style. Yeah. Limited, we were going to have like curry, do some Japanese curry and different things like that. And little by little, Serene Gardens was a like kind of gifts.
It was a lot of things.
Yeah, it had a lot of things going on. So gifts. My brother was into landscaping, so that was like the garden center and the landscaping was half the business. Yeah, and food was the other half. Yeah, yeah. And I don't know. Garden center here in Buffalo was it's tough with the 6 months of snow. Yes. So little by little, the restaurant was doing better, and we started focusing more on that and realized this is the path we need to be on, and given the options in Buffalo too, that we thought that we could bring something a little bit different. Oh yeah. So
there's definitely a huge market for the food that you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's kind of it's different for people, and not everybody, but people who have eaten out of the city and different or come from different areas, they're totally used to it. Oh yeah. For like our bread and butter people, which is a lot of Grand Island, it's it's new to people. It's kind of like a culture shock. So it's little by little kind of easing people into it. And but I think that kind of goes with, why it's, even though you do ramen here, even like the famous ramen restaurants, they can't focus on having one soup. Yeah. It would be like, even though we have like pizza places here, there is no, I don't know of any pizza place that says we do pepperoni and mushroom pizza. So fuck it, that's all you get. Yeah, it's like
that's essentially the equivalent.
You want hot peppers, go somewhere else. Yeah, it's like that narrow that I just don't think you're gonna find in the States really. Yeah, maybe hole in the wall in New York City.
Exactly. Yeah, there's places like New York City where that kind of stuff you can get away with. But even a Pudu, which is like arguably one of the best ramen shops in New York City, like. Their menu is pretty big.
Right. Yeah. We definitely had to diversify and open up the menu and everything. And it's, her parents look at that and they're like, oh, well, it's kind of not the purest approach that they took or her uncle took in Tokyo, but that's,
it's a different audience.
All right. Yeah.
They don't really understand. So we kind of have fights over Skype. Sometimes.
Yeah, we have Skype fights every once in a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, she Skypes with them every week, and we let them know what's going on, and they're like, "Oh, well, that's not the traditional way to do it," but I'm like, "Oh well."
Baby steps.
Yeah, baby steps.
You got to get Buffalo a little further along, and then you can blow them away with something. Yeah. So when you decided to move to the city, like how was the process of figuring out like what neighborhoods you wanted to be in? Like was Elmwood Village like a big thing, or how was that like search process?
We were looking for turnkey.
Yeah.
And that location was turnkey.
Yeah.
And
it's very pretty. I mean, what the owners of O3 did with the place, I mean, they did a very great job.
Yeah. I mean, they did a great job, and I think that they really, that was sort of like an Asian vibe was there.
Yeah,
it wasn't. They didn't play it up, but it was definitely there.
I always thought it looked really modern for a place that was essentially like a sandwich, like or vegetarian-y type place.
Yeah,
I think it works way better for like a Japanese style like restaurant.
Yeah. Well, we had looked, and I always thought like the Village would be cool. That would be the area, but we were also sort of scared of a lot of the landlords. There's some sharks out there that you don't want to get stuck with. Yeah, so I basically given up. Figured that we're gonna we'll just find another area. We looked on Allen, and was it the old Langnaps?
I don't know.
Oh, okay,
Langnaps was a spot across from the Pink.
Yeah.
That was one place that we looked at, but people were saying that it would be really hard to get a liquor license there. It's kind of saturated with licenses there to begin with. And now that we think about it, at some point, maybe a straight ramen joint on Allen would be like the perfect kind of vibe. But in Japan, like ramen is like, it's like your lunch food. You can have it for dinner. It's totally late night drunk food.
Yeah, you could have it at 2 a.m.
I don't know if Buffalo gets like soups and drunk food yet, but we're trying to ease them into it.
Yeah, and also like I think Buffalo still has an idea of drunk food where it's like a Lloyd taco where it's like a $3 thing.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much like a $15 bowl of ramen, which is unfortunate because like I can't think of anything I'd rather destroy at like 2 a.m. than like a bowl of like ramen. Like that just sounds amazing. Yeah. Are you with the Main Street location? Are you guys gonna maybe consider doing later nights, or what are you thinking? No,
we're still up in the air. I don't know. I mean, different people have said like that area. I mean, it's kind of dead in the summertime, and Elmwood is like we've got the patios, the front and back patios, so that's where it's it's going to be night and day different. So
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So I mean, if it's back to school for UB in September, so that's when they said like all the people are out. So we might have we'll go with basically where the crowds are.
I mean, I think it's worked really well for a lot of those Chinese restaurants in Amherst that now serve like a home-style menu, where like 5 years ago, a guy like me could never find any of the stuff I really wanted to eat. Right. But now, like, they're like getting all the non-Asian students that are like really interested in it as well. It's definitely something I've seen over the last at least 3 years where people are more interested in more authentic cuisine.
Miss Hot Cafe and some of those guys that came out.
It's
I mean, there's still like there's like maybe 3 white people in the whole room, but that's I
kind of feel good.
Yeah,
I kind of feel good when I'm one of the 3. Yeah. I feel like I'm actually having like a genuine experience.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's how. Whenever we travel and we go to like an Asian restaurant or Indian or whatever, if I'm like one of the few Caucasian people in there, I'm like, we picked the right place. Yeah. Like, there's no like hipsters Instagramming all these foods, so like we're in the right place.
We're in the real spot. Yeah.
So you were mentioning the liquor license. So Josh, you're I don't want to what. I don't know what level of sake sommelier or just
now I'm just a full sake sommelier.
Awesome.
Yeah, originally it was the sake advisor, and then there's a couple steps. But
is that like I'm assuming you picked up some love of sake living in Japan.
Yeah. That's where it started. Here, I didn't really have any. Well, actually, when I was here, I was only technically not able to drink, but technicalities,
Yeah.
So my first experiences drinking were in Japan. Yeah. And with like my host family, and when I first had it, it was shit. Like, I was like, I couldn't understand why. I mean, how can this like 75-year-old little Oji-san sit here and down this like 1.8 liter of sake and it doesn't even taste good? But eventually it's something that you kind of have to, I think, get used to. Yeah. And that's not...
Like learn the palate of it?
Yeah, learn the palate of it. And it really does go with the food. So, I mean, that's the other difference in Japan. Like, the drinking culture is really with food.
Okay.
You know, izakaya and the pub kind of thing.
Yeah,
It's cocktail bars are up and coming in the cities and things, but traditionally it was always, you know, the best alcohol goes with the food.
Okay.
So it took me a while to get used to the nuances, but eventually... Yeah, I mean, there really is like a whole wide range of, you know, sweet to dry and spicy and all kinds of stuff. So.
It's always, I've told you before, like it's always one of those things I really want to get into. It seems intimidating at first, but like anything, like I guess like wine or whiskey.
Right. I mean, wine is still, you know, we've gotten into it, but it's just, you know, when I talk to like one of our wine reps, it's just like, this is his passion. And he's going on about the details of like some little like crevice in France. And I'm like, okay, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, everybody has strange passions. So,
but when you guys opened SATO, did you know you wanted to have a pretty solid sake beer program? Or,
well, we only had the beer and wine license first.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And we love sake.
Yeah.
So, and we wanted to focus on the sake part.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense because there's really not a lot of people. I mean, I know Cooney's has a pretty decent sake selection, but there's really nobody else like really focusing on it.
Yeah. I mean, we were limited by not having the hard alcohol at first.
Yeah.
And, you know, we were doing what we could with like craft cocktails and still getting like the fresh juices in and doing what we could with a variety of different sakes that I think some people aren't doing. But eventually, you know, we took to the beer too. So that kind of became, we've got a lot of beer geeks that ended up working for us. So we get a lot of like imported Japanese craft beer that it's kind of cool to see that scene using like Japanese ingredients in it, because that the microbrewery, the craft brewery in Japan is still really new. It was only like 1995 when it started. Before that, it was illegal.
Oh wow!
It was a government dominated thing where they, you know, Asahi, Kirin, and Sapporo are like the three main beers, and they're all like German lager style.
Yeah.
So it's been this battle of like who can create the super dry, the most driest lager.
Okay.
And the lager fits with the food. I mean, the palate fits with the food. So that's sort of what they were going for, but all the creativity and exploring your own ingredients and that kind of stuff had been, well, one, had been illegal. So it was kind of like, you know, you could do your own thing, but you couldn't distribute it.
I see.
Yeah, so that was sort of limited until they opened that up, and now you've got like lots of different stuff, yuzu and all kinds of different stuff.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so we've been into that.
How
not cheap.
I was going to say
that's the problem. Yeah.
How easy to get these things?
It's a pain in the ass. Same thing with the sake. It's like, you know, because there's a lot of distributors out there that specialize. They only carry like 6 sake.
Yeah.
But it's like really famous sake that I know is good. It's popular in Japan, so I'll reach out and make a connection with them. But you know, the premium sake has to be kept chilled.
Oh, wow.
It has to be kept cold, or if it's a draft sake, it's got to be kept dark and cold.
Yeah.
So they send it by like this refrigerated truck and everything, and then I have to like run down to like Greyhound and pick it up, and I don't know. It's a hobby, I guess. It's not exactly a money making hobby, but you know, I think it's good.
It's a different
to show people the variety.
Oh yeah,
you know, that's why we have a lot of flights where you can try different things, and just to show people it's not just the cheap like gasoline stuff that they spray in your mouth.
Exactly.
Because
God, I was having with the last inn. It was a sake.
Yeah, we did the sake cocktail.
And I was telling my coworkers, I was like, it's like really cool. It's like sake, and they're gonna make all these cocktails. They're like, I don't like sake. And I was like, when have you had it? He's like, you know, when you go to the restaurant, they squirt it in your mouth. And I was like, don't think that's what they're gonna be.
No,
using.
it's if somebody's squirting like wine in your mouth, that's obviously not top quality wine.
I would hope not.
Watered down, and it's
not for free.
Not approved. Yeah, that is Buffalo Eats not approved.
No, definitely not. I think. I mean, how has it been? Do you think? Have you noticed your customers becoming more educated as they've come back to the restaurant? Or, I mean, have you noticed people maybe ordering the more exotic things you wouldn't have expected, or ordering, the sakes and stuff like that? Or
customers usually starts from the flights, and they remember what they liked last time.
Nice.
So they're gonna order what they liked last time. So that's
good.
Yeah, it's staying in their palate. So.
That's good. You're converting some people. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, really, it is like a wine. There is a variety, so it's just kind of showing people enough variety to find the kind that you like. Because what I like is not always the same as what you like, and a lot of it depends on the time of year. Hot sake is good in the winter, but a lot of the good sake is meant to be drank chilled. So, there's little nuances that people...
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how have you noticed... I mean, because you guys are entering your second summer now. So, like, how do you feel you've come after the first year of working in Elmwood?
We learned a lot through making many errors.
Yeah.
We don't know when... the street gets busy. It's all of a sudden, and
is it really
like
a crowd will just like hit you?
Yeah, it's hard to figure out the pattern. Sometimes it's like, oh shit, there's another parade Saturday morning, so we're like crazy busy for lunch, and other days it's like, oh well, damn, the Sabres were playing, so we're fucked. So
luckily it's over.
Yeah. So it's, a lot of the times we're figuring out like after the fact, like, oh, this event was going on, so, conflicted or, that kind of thing. But eventually I think try to read the patterns a little better.
Is there anything you guys thought at the beginning that would have been a certain part of the restaurant that now you've kind of changed? Like anything from your original vision to what you guys are doing now? Or
we started without sushi.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And the sushi is really popular now.
People love their sushi.
People love sushi.
We were doing like sashimi and doing like the raw fish incorporated like with our dishes.
Yeah.
But that, people wanted the rolls.
Yes.
It was like, you got to have the rolls and it's a give and take. You got to give the people what they want a little bit. And we're like, well, we can, we have the skills to make the rice and do it. Well, we might as well do it. So now it's a lot more popular than we were expecting it to be.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, as long as you read the customer base, I guess.
Yeah.
You bring them in with the sushi, and then you.
Yeah. It wasn't too much of a stretch. It was. It's a little give and take with the customers sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
At times we're kind of like, no, we're not doing that. It's
no,
like,
I'm not shooting.
Yeah, it's like, don't fucking bash us on Yelp because you didn't order noodles with your ramen and you didn't get full. It's like,
yeah. I think, I mean, we could talk about Yelp.
Yeah,
I think it is interesting though. I mean, because you guys are really doing something I think genuinely different than pretty much any other Japanese restaurant in Buffalo. So you kind of have to. You guys, unfortunately, have to educate Buffalo on a lot of those things.
Yeah. I think as long as we do it in a playful way.
Oh yeah. You don't want to be preachy because that can turn off people real quick. But
definitely,
but no, as long as it's fun and you have like staff that's also super excited to talk about those kind of things and like tell the story, I guess, behind the dishes. I guess that must be really clutch for you guys.
We've been lucky with the staff that we've found, and that's really part of, it's cheesy to say we're a team and all that kind of stuff, but originally a lot of the people we found, they had studied abroad in Japan for a year, so they kind of knew a little bit about it, or they had done a homestay or studied Japanese for a little bit, so just that kind of that general appreciation or connection really comes through with, it's not open kitchen, so Satomi and her crew in the back are doing can easily get lost from the time that they make it to the time it gets to the customer's seat. So, if the people really, they're communicators. They have to be really good communicators. And I think we found a really good team that appreciate it. And, we force feed them too. So they have to eat it. They have to like it. So
yeah,
they don't have to like everything, but they got to find something they like.
That's good. You want those people. Yeah.
But the new place is open kitchen. So that's that's what we really wanted to go for, Japanese style, where you get to kind of see what's going on behind the scenes. And really it doesn't have to be behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It should be part of the atmosphere, part of the experience.
Well, a lot of those ramen shops, I mean, it's pretty much just the bar at the kitchen.
Yeah. And you got the counter in the kitchen and
I cannot explain how excited I am for this. Because we every time me and my wife go to either New York City or Toronto, our number one goal, if we have 2 nights, is one of those days we're getting ramen, and so we try to make our way around. And we went to Santose in Toronto, and it was really nice. But it's one of those places where you are right on top of the guy next to you, but but it's kind of, I don't want to say churn and burn, but they are it's a very rapid pace.
Right. And I don't think we're going to get that in Buffalo yet. I don't think people are going to... It's not going to be that crammed. I don't think people are totally going to wait in line like they do in other places. It'd be cool.
It wouldn't be a bad...
We're ready for it, but...
I mean, once when school comes back in September, there's a lot of kids that probably will be very excited to have ramen.
Hopefully.
Yeah. It's gonna be... So how do you feel about the whole splitting up into 2 different restaurants and
I'm so scared. I am overwhelmed. I don't know how we can make it. I want to make it right. And
she's a perfectionist. I'm sort of like the idea man.
Yeah, his idea is all on me. And
well, how do you think we got into Nickel City Chef? I'm the one who filled out the application.
I
told her after the fact that she had applied. She was.
I hope she didn't. I hope you didn't find out when we announced it on the podcast. That'd be
a little before.
A little bit before that. A little bit before that.
I was not happy.
Oh, you love it.
I'm very excited to watch your competition. Me and my wife will be there. My brother will be there. So I think it'll be a very fun competition. Yeah. But so, are you going to try to find a number 2 in the kitchen that you can feel confident?
Yes.
Yes, I would feel that'd be pretty clutch. Yeah. Is that search still going?
We've got a few people that we really trust, and the manager, Molly and those guys, Jordan, the front of the house, they have a pretty good grasp of things, and they can eyeball it too. If something's off, there's a good communication between the front and the back.
Oh for sure.
That there, and we have. It's a struggle to find actual Japanese people in Buffalo.
Oh yeah.
So that's been our biggest struggle. But
I've always heard that a lot of the Japanese restaurants are actually not run by Japanese.
The population is really low.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just comes down to the numbers of the population.
Oh, yeah,
and a lot of the Japanese people are maybe connected to UB or something like that, and not really in the restaurant scene. So we've gotten, some of the housewives that come and that help out, but they got great palates. So, it's,
awesome.
It works. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess it would help. I mean, obviously, a ramen broth is a very complicated thing, but the idea of having only a couple of things would maybe help, I guess, with the kitchen, that they're not tasked with too many things that they have to prepare.
Yeah.
So that probably would help a little bit, but I'm sure still, it'll be a unique transition.
Yeah, I mean, we've found people that I think the best thing is people who genuinely love noodles.
Yes.
So it's appreciating it's not a full al dente, but it's chewy but not gooey, and getting the right texture of the noodles, as well as it's sort of the science of putting it together and then having some type of display is finding the people that appreciate that type of simple thing.
Oh yeah, the details.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Nickel City Chef for a little bit. So I saw you guys. I forgot which one it was, but one of the earlier ones this year. Was that your first? That was your first Nickel City event that you got to see.
Yep.
Yes.
How was Satomi? How was watching one firsthand?
I was surprised to see everybody being so calm and organized, and everything was perfectly made, and that made me more scared. I won't be like them.
I don't see you as like somebody who's yelling in the kitchen or anything. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't, but no, I get frustrated sometimes.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and I don't know if it. I think a lot of Japanese kitchens are a lot calmer.
Yeah.
I mean, there isn't much throwing of pans and Metallica
That's
in the
definitely,
background.
It's more of a French thing, I feel.
Yeah. And we've definitely along the way we've met some of the chefs who've worked for us that, they come from that background. So they're used to this high pressure, high intensity and that doesn't jive in our kitchen.
Somebody's punching walls and walking.
Yeah. So it's, and they maybe didn't last very long. So it's, come and go here and there. But I think, it's, she's not, she's a small Japanese woman. She doesn't intimidate by look, but I think she definitely runs a kitchen. So
well, I've had the food, and I can confirm that you make a damn good bowl of soup. So damn good bowl of ramen too.
It's really it's like it's not. It is a competition, definitely. But that's what I kept trying to tell her is like it really seems like everyone is. They're there to put on like a good show for everybody.
I think the result is secondary, and I think the entire thing is just showcasing the talented chefs of Buffalo and how exciting it is to show people that these people in the restaurant industry really care what they're doing and have a passion for it. And they're not just doing it for a paycheck; they're doing it because this is what they love, and to then also showcase a local producer of somebody who's doing something really good. So it is really just a fun show. Obviously, I can say that because I'm not competing in it, but it is really it's a really. Everyone says like that 60 minutes just like flies by like crazy. So it's a whirlwind, I'm sure. Yeah. You guys are going against a pretty talented guy too.
Oh, Ed, he's great. We get along with him. He's a really cool guy, and we talked, and he hangs out at our place. We'll hang out at his place.
Yeah.
So it's really it'll be. I think it'll be a good, fun competition.
And I think you guys have a lot of comparable traits with both of your foods that I think it'll be interesting to see you put up against. Have you been practicing a little bit here and there, or
a little bit?
It's tough for us with local, and that's I think even for our restaurant concept.
Because you probably do a lot of. I would assume importing of
it's sort of a balance of we work with local purveyors and farms as much as we can. At the same time, we want to kind of highlight a rare Japanese ingredient, and other times, like for some of like the ramen stock, it's tea metal pork is really cool. We love it. But we need something that, you can't run out of pork. You just can't. We got to have this one specific cut of pork like all the time. Yeah. So, we're limited by this and that. So it'll be interesting to see what comes our way.
And it'll be, it must be interesting for a chef to just literally have an open canvas for a meal and just make whatever the hell you want, pretty much.
I will bring ingredients that I'm used to and just work around it.
Yeah. Awesome.
I will do what I know.
I'm looking very much forward to it. So, you guys, obviously have the second restaurant coming. Is there any other things you plan on doing with the rest of the year? Is that pretty much taking up most of it?
Rest of the year.
With SATO,
enough.
with SATO, is there anything else you want to do with that restaurant in going down the road,
well,
not that I can think of right now. The patio's just opening, so we got to
That's pretty huge.
I think we might put ourselves on the garden walk this year. We did a Japanese garden in the rear.
Oh, nice.
Last year, but we didn't make it in time for spring.
Yeah.
So I think we'll probably kind of push that a little bit, a little atmosphere out front. But if you want to people watch, you can sit in the front, kind of garden sanctuary in the back. So
nice, that'll be nice.
Yeah. So we're.
I mean,
nothing new right now.
Second restaurant is
yeah. And I think that the noodles themselves that we've been working with different recipes. So I think we're gonna have some more like soba buckwheat as well. It's not. I don't know if there's anyone else really around focusing on that. So
I can tell you right
now. So we'll, I want to see some different, not off the wall, but like a duck soba kind of thing, and some different things.
Very cool. Awesome. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for
coming
down and talking. Yeah. And tell me good luck. This is going to go up Wednesday, so you'll be competing in 4 days. Well, good luck.